Good morning, all my yarny friends. I'm Sach. Welcome or welcome back to another edition of This or That, and sometimes the other thing. Today we're doing a this or that, though. So today's subject is one that has some controversy as far as the name of the stitch. Because it's a simple stitch, I call it a triple stitch. Others call it a treble stitch. And I get questions about this all the time. Why is it called a treble? Why isn't it called a triple? Is it an English term? Is it an American term? Why is there so much trouble with this stitch? It can be confusing. And so we're going to talk about that today. I do want to remind you to comment because I love to read your comments. And remember, there are no wrong answers. Everybody's opinion is important in this forum because we're talking about yarn, crochet patterns, and all things yarny goodness, okay? So yes, please comment because I love to read them. I do try to read every single one of them, and I may not be able to give you like a long answer, but if you have a question, I will try my very best to find you an answer to that question. All right, let's get started. All right, so is it a triple stitch or a treble stitch? And I looked it up because I wanted to make sure that I had the right information. I personally learned it as a triple stitch. I learned it many years ago. and it was always called a triple stitch. And then I noticed as I got into doing a lot more pattern reading, as I got a little older, in my 20s, I realized that it was being called a treble stitch. And I thought, well, I don't even understand that. It was extremely confusing for me when reading patterns. Now, on a pattern, whether it's called a triple or treble stitch, the abbreviation for it is TR. And so that's always going to be the same, but it is the exact same stitch. All right, so let me read to you what I found on the internet. And this is short, don't worry. This is what it says. It is both the triple stitch and the treble stitch. They refer to the same crochet stitch, which is the taller stitch created after the double crochet. Because we have a slip stitch, a single, a double, and a triple. Okay? It is the standard term. Treble crochet is the standard term in British or English patterns and some of the older US patterns. The triple stitch is the preferred and modern term in US patterns or American patterns. The stitch is always abbreviated as a TR regardless of the term used. And so they're easy to understand that anytime you see the word treble or triple stitch, they're stitched the same, the abbreviation's the same, and it really is the same stitch. So here is just a clip art that I found. I thought that would be useful because it tells you exactly what to do. You're doing 2 wraps, you're pulling through, and then you're doing it again, pulling through, and you get a nice tall stitch. Well, sometimes looking at something like this can be a little bit confusing. And so I'm going to do a demo for you like I did the other day. I'm using the same swatch that I had. I just took out a few stitches. All right, so let's just go through this. American terms. We have a slip stitch. Okay, now we have a single crochet. We have a double crochet. And then we have a triple. 2 wraps, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the next 2, yarn over, and go through the last 2. And so you can see as we go, the stitches get bigger. All right, and those are your standard American term stitches. Slip stitch, single, double, triple. Between the single and the double, there is something called a half double. Okay, and that's yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, and just go through all three. And that's a nice stitch that's in between the single and the double. Okay, so let me pull this out, and we'll do that again. And we'll add that half double crochet in there. All right, so slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, and triple. And there you have a nice as it grows up from the smallest to the triple stitches. All right, the triple stitch can be a little bit confusing, but don't let it confuse you by the terms treble and triple. And so just a bottom line, what I'm talking about today, bottom line it, is that the treble and the triple stitch are exactly the same. The abbreviation on a pattern when you're reading it is the same. It's a TR. And they're stitched exactly the same. So don't let that confuse you. Now, I know even when you look on some American patterns, it'll say treble stitch. And it used to trip me up. I'd go, what in the world is a treble? What does that even mean? You know, but really it's a triple stitch. It's the same thing. And so don't let that confuse you when you're working on a pattern. The triple stitch is a great stitch when you want height. When I'm doing my crochet tutorials and writing my patterns, I will always say triple stitch. And it's really funny because I'll get people correct me all the time. And it's usually people who've been crocheting a lot less than, years than me, because I've been crocheting probably, let's see, I'm 62. I've been crocheting at least 50 years. And sometimes there were a year or two in there where I didn't, when I was raising my kids and stuff like that. But I have always crocheted. It's always been a passion of mine. And it's been fun to watch how the patterns have changed, how the stitches are the same, but I'm talking about new stitch patterns that have come out. And that's why we're talking about a lot of this stuff, because many years ago, patterns had certain names to them. And then as the years passed, new crocheters came on and they did the same patterns, but they called them different names. And sometimes that's extremely confusing. And so what I'm trying to do with this series, this time of the year, because I change it often of what this and that is. So what I'm trying to do right now is answer the questions that I get concerning stitch patterns. And not just stitches, but stitch patterns also. Because there's a lot of them that we've been doing for years that were named one thing. And then the last couple of years, it became popular again. And so people renamed it. And it's okay. I don't care that they renamed it. I just don't want you to be confused as to why, or sometimes there's just no reason why. They just wanted to call it a different thing. And that's okay. I look at it this way. I don't care what you call it, treble or triple, just crochet, okay? Because I love to crochet. It is my happy place. All right, so if you have a question about a stitch or stitch pattern, be sure and comment in that comment section underneath this video. And if I don't know the answer, I will try my best to find you one. And then we'll talk about it in another This and That video. All right, now I do have a lot of other This and That videos out there, so be sure and check in that This and That playlist here on YouTube and see if it answers your question. And a great way to find that out is just to go to my YouTube channel there and go to that little circle that looks like a magnifying glass and click that and just put your question in there. Like this. You could put in what's treble or triple stitch. And if I have a video on that, it'll pop up for you. And then you can also search other places online for other people that might be able to answer your questions as well. But as far as I'm concerned, if you have a question, put it in that comment section and I will do everything I can to give you an answer. And like I said, if I don't know it, I will try to find you one. Alrighty. Well, that's what I've got for you today. Practice that triple stitch. It's a really great stitch. It makes nice lacy open stitches for different patterns and things like that. And it's just a fun, in my opinion, it's a really fun stitch to do. All right. Well, I guess I'll let you go on that note. And I'll see you next time for another edition of this or that. See you next time.